My name is George Tseros. I came to Australia in 1965 with my parents, my sister and my younger brother Paul. We settled in Norwood and coming to Australia was a big shock because I come from a small village from Greece on the island of Kalimnos, and everything was new to me. Everything was new. Anyway, so we settled in Norwood and I went to school in Dulwich Hill for 3.5 years. I think I left in year 9, and then I left school and became a motor mechanic apprentice.
Welcome, George Tseros.
Good to be with you.
Tell me something. Why were you inspired to pick up the Bouzouki and learn it here in Sydney? And what was it like learning in Sydney Bouzouki? Were there other kids at the time learning also? Was it a school? Why were you inspired to play the Bouzouki?
So when we came to Australia, my brother Andy, who was already here, was playing guitar, and he wanted to form a family band. So he asked me and my brother Paul, my younger brother, to choose an instrument. I chose the Bouzouki. Paul chose the accordion. A few years later, Andy stopped the guitar. Paul and I continued lessons, but then Paul stopped the accordion as well, and I continued with the Bouzouki. In 1969, I joined my first band. I wasn't very experienced yet, but that's when I joined my first band.
What was the band's name?
The band's name was Marathon.
Marathon?
Yes.
Okay, very, very dramatic name, very Greek name.
Very dramatic name. That lasted for about a year, and then I joined the band Thessaloniki. Thessaloniki was a 5-piece band, and we were very busy at the time. In the 60s there were a lot of bands around, but they were all busy because just about everywhere in Sydney, every Saturday would be a Greek function. Usually, you know, the dancers, the community dancers, everywhere. So there were about 30 or 40 or 50 bands playing everywhere all the time. Thessaloniki was a very busy band, so I was with them for 2 years, and it was like a great experience. And there were a lot of young people learning music those days. Greek music was really alive.
And with Thessaloniki, was it just social functions? Was it weddings? Was it...
Weddings, christenings, community dances, a lot of travelling to Wagga, to Newcastle, Canberra, Goulburn.
Right, so, and what was your repertoire?
Repertoire was 80% Greek and some Latin.
Oh, some Latin too?
We had to, yes, because people wanted to dance the Latin dances as well. Yes.
Do you have any fond memories of these times?
The fond memories is that I've made so many friends, lifelong friends. I played at functions where were great fun. Travelling was not going to Canberra or other places really tiring, but really enjoyable.
And what was the scene like at that time? What did people want? What were they, when they hired a band, what were they looking for?
They just wanted to have a good time, and we always provided a good time. And those days, people enjoyed it so much, we used to fill our pockets with tips. It was a great time for Greek music, yes.
And what other bands did you play with? Thessaloniki, did you play with other?
After Thessaloniki, I wasn't playing anywhere about 2 or 3 years. Then I joined a band called International, where we had a lady singer and we had a Czechoslovakian guitar player who could play Greek music perfect, and a South American from Uruguay playing the accordion. So that's why it was called International.
International, very international.
Yeah, with them also we travelled everywhere. Everywhere in New South Wales, yeah.
And you played in other bands too in the 80s, Neasteria.
In 1980 I joined Neasteria, but I was a little bit apprehensive because I wasn't sure whether I wanted to continue to do it. So I joined the band anyway. They needed a Bouzouki player, and I was with them for 10 years. And that was great. We had the best gigs in town, in the city mainly. All the major hotels in the city. Travelled a lot as well, again Canberra, Newcastle, etc. And I've made some lifelong friends from that band as well. Yes.
So tell me, how did your bouzouki playing develop? Is it through experience? Is it through, did you practice a lot? How did it develop?
It developed by practicing, but not enough. In my case, because I was working 7 days a week, it was very difficult. My dream was always to put my full time into music, but I couldn't do it. When I got married, mortgage, kids, I had to work 1 or 2 jobs to keep going. So I didn't spend as much time as practicing, but I did my best and I managed to do okay with it.
How did you balance working as a mechanic and then playing nights until 1 or 2 in the morning at the social function? How did you balance that?
Well, it was an agreement with my wife and I. When we got married, I said to her, "There's one thing I have to tell you: don't ask me to give up music." And she never did, and she didn't complain at all. So she would look after the kids at home, and I would be out playing. Get home at 1 or 2 in the morning, sleep till about 10 or so the next day. But that was only on weekends. That's why I never went into nightclubs, because they started at 10 at night or 11 and finished at 6 in the morning, and I couldn't do it because I had to work during the day.
Now you've got a very, very great story about joining the Wiggles, okay, and becoming the Greek Wiggle. I looked up, uki, play your old bouzouki, But tell us, how did you become the Greek Wiggle?
Well, at one point in 2000, I went and played in a Greek tavern called Scorpios in Annandale. One Saturday night, Anthony Field, that's his name, he came to the restaurant for dinner. His wife is Greek. And he left his number with the owner of Scorpios to give to me to call Anthony to do a recording with them. So I did. And from then on, they kept calling me back. So everything they did for about 8 years, I was involved in either recording or videoing. We did many DVDs and CDs. We did an offshoot of the Wiggles called Dorothy the Dinosaur Show, which was 50-something episodes of 7 minutes, which televised everywhere around the world. And I'm so proud of that because at one point, while on camera, they asked me to explain to kids how you tune the bouzouki, how you play it, what it's called. And I was able to do that, and I was proud because I promoted the bouzouki. I don't know if you know, but the Wiggles are worldwide, known everywhere. And I promoted the bouzouki, to the world, thanks to the Wiggles.
And bringing it into mainstream society.
Yes.
Right, which is amazing. Now you've got a couple of stories, but tell me the story about the Leo Sayer song.
So one day, Anthony Field, the Blue Wiggle, said to me, "George, I would like you to sing the chorus in Greek." So his wife and I sat down to work out some words.
Which song was it?
Which is "You Make Me Feel Like Dancing." That's his song, right? So, and I don't know if you know the song, but the chorus goes, "You make me feel like dancing." So we thought, what do we do? So I said, "Με κάνεις να χορεύω." "Με κάνεις να χορεύω." So we put that in the song and we recorded it, and you might see it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You'll hear the chorus in Greek and bouzouki playing in the background.
That's amazing, but you must have some very, very fond memories.
I do. I really enjoyed it. They were like very lovely people, the Wiggles, very down to earth. They liked me playing bouzouki for a long time. They liked the sound. We also did that Dorothy the Dinosaur show, which was extremely rewarding for me. Like we did the recording in the studio first, and then we go to the video studio and record a video of everything, all the songs that we did, and I met a few entertainers of the Australian music industry.
And tell us, You know, what is the future of live Greek music in Sydney? Do you feel?
Well, I'll tell you, I played in bands for a long time, but I think in the 1990s, the bands started to disappear. There were only a few around, a handful of bands around, maybe less. And I was kind of worried because I was getting older and I was hoping young people will continue the tradition of the Greek music. So for about a decade or something, it was kind of going down. But then I noticed that a lot of young people started to come out learning Bouzouki and other instruments and playing Greek music. And that kind of encouraged me that the Greek music is going to do well. And at the moment, just about every wedding you go to or every function, you will see a Bouzouki player doing a show. And there's so many of them out there and very talented as well, which is very good because they play all the traditional Greek songs, rebetika, laika, a lot.
Now, you've been in Australia for over 55 years, right? You've grown up here because you came out here as a very, very young teenager and you've grown here. Where do you belong? Where's your topos here?
My topo is here, but Greece is here. Because whenever I go back, and I try to go back as often as I can, I get teary-eyed. It's where I grew up, where I was born, where I played as a little boy. So, but my topo is here because my kids are here, my grandkids are here. I'm established here. So I belong here, but I also, like I say, Greece is here.
George Tseros, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.